If you've ever heard me talk about my family, then you know that I was raised by an incredible mother and 4 beautiful sisters. Throughout my life and career, dynamic women, Hannah Storm, Robin Roberts, Pam Oliver, have guided me and shown me how to push through adversity. I've had the great pleasure of interviewing some of these powerful women on this podcast who then shared their experiences and the hard work it takes to make a difference. One was longtime friend and Los Angeles Lakers owner Jeanie Buss. Jeanie shared her rise as the most powerful woman in sports and how she's now empowering female athletes. I also spoke with one of the funniest women in comedy today, Emmy-nominated actress, comedian, Miss Pat. I couldn't believe some of the hardships she endured on her way to the top. There was also former USA gymnast Sarah Klein, who explained how she was the first victim of Larry Nassar, the team doctor for USA Gymnastics, who was found guilty of abusing hundreds of female athletes. Sarah's now a powerful attorney who took back control of her life, helping others find their voices too. You all know I'm a big WWE fan. During WrestleMania 39 at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, I sat down with Becky Lynch to discuss the impact of women in the world of WWE. I've also had the wonderful actress Javicia Leslie on, who shared how she learned to find joy, peace, and gratitude in an industry that can sometimes steal it. Let's listen to all these empowering women and hear what they have to say. I want you to talk to me about, this women's wrestling league. I mean, I get into the Lakers and you and all of that stuff. I mean, forget all of that for a second. I want to talk about this women's wrestling league. Now you're an owner with this. What's going on with this? Talk to me about this league right here, Jeanie. Why did you jumpstart this?
Well, I knew that, women would look to me and what my investment would be in women's sports, given my background. And what was important to me was I would figure out something. I'd been a part of so many minor league, sports that went bankrupt after 2, 3, 8 years and never made it. Roller hockey, indoor soccer, you name it, I did it. But I wanted something that would be sustainable, that would be a business model, that if women really wanted to have an opportunity to perform and be in sports and have a platform, that wrestling really did provide it. We have, in this country, because of Title IX, we have this just huge amount of female athletes who, excel at their sport and play, in college for 4 years. And, to become a Division I college athlete, you have to sacrifice 10, 11, 12 years old. You are training and, you reach the height of your sport, playing field hockey for the number 1 team in the country. But now you graduate and your eligibility is gone. What are you going to do? You're still an athlete. You still have the discipline and the training and the guts to be a performer. And wrestling has traditionally been, something that has stood the test of time and has lasted through the decades and has lasted through radio, television, streaming, whatever. It can, roll with the changing media landscape. And women traditionally in wrestling have been only a sideshow or the undercard. They've never been given the spotlight, the main stage. And so putting all that experience together and knowing that we would have, female athletes that would be interested in, using their training in another way. And it's really just been so terrific being able to give these, not only are they athletically talented, but they have the personalities to sell themselves. And, they wouldn't have another opportunity to do that. And, I'm providing it, and more women need to think that way and invest in women's sports.
The person that he wanted in control was you. And to me, you have spent years showing that you're worthy of the level of trust he's placed in you. So I ask you again, when you think about what you've accomplished, despite some of the Lakers' struggles and what have you, the bottom line is you've got a championship on your resume. All right. First female to pull it off in NBA history, by the way. I'd like to add that. What would he say to Jeanie Buss today based on what you've accomplished?
He would say, "That's my girl." Like, I mean, he would be happy, but then it would be, okay, what are you going to do next? Like, you don't stop and, just sit back. It's like, how do you continue to evolve the team and keep going?
Football season is about to kick off, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win all season long. Because right now, when you bet on a Super Bowl winner, you can get bonus bets every time they win in the regular season. Just pick any team to win the Super Bowl, and you'll get bonus bets for every victory. You can use your bonus bets on spreads, player props, over and unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/SAS and start earning bonus bets with America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/SAS. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hope is here. Gambling Helpline MA.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. Call 1-877-8-HOPE, New York, or text HOPENY 467-369. That's New York. 21 plus and present in select states. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $50 unless specified otherwise. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP, NEXTSTEP, to 53342. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. 1-877-770-STOP. It's Louisiana. Visit www.mdgamblinghelp.org. That's Maryland. 1-800-522-4700. West Virginia. Or visit www.1800gambler.net. For people who don't know you, who are living under a rock and they don't know who you are right now, because you're one of the hottest things going right now, I'm going to break down this, and anything that I'm wrong about, just let me know. Okay. Born in Atlanta, Georgia. Gave birth to your first child at 14 and your second child at 15. Am I correct?
Yes, by a married man.
That's right. The father of your first two children was 8 years your senior. Is that correct?
Yes.
Sexually abusing you since the age of 12. Is that correct?
I thought that was my boyfriend, but you can keep going.
Okay. All right. I mean, it says that earlier, in your earlier years, in your earlier childhood, you were sexually abused by one of your mother's boyfriends. Is that true?
Yes.
Your two younger children were conceived late in life with your husband, of course. You then adopted 4 children who are the biological children of your niece because she had a crack addiction. That's true?
Yes, I have them now.
Wow. And of course, at age 15, you began selling crack cocaine while supporting yourself and your 2 children using the street name Rabbit. Is that true?
Yes.
Last but not least, shot twice, once in the head, once in the nipple, and you were also hit by a dump truck. Is this true?
Yes. This is my kid's fault. I'm a comedian, so the dump truck was a pickup truck, okay? But I was shot in the titty and I was shot in the back of the head by my kid's father.
Wow. And so obviously that's not a laughing matter. How is it that you've been able to laugh and be committed to making other people laugh going through what you've been through?
Well, I always tell people, you can't change the past. So why dwell on things you cannot change? When you can take what's caused you pain in your life and turn it into laughter, then that means you winning. I mean, I'm smiling every day. I could be somewhat depressed, on drugs, feeling sorry for myself, but that's not going to heal me. That I can't get back what they took from me. So I just decided to smile and create a life that I'm one day happy, and I'm happy.
When you think about you and where you've come and how you've gotten to this point, talk to me about that special and what kind of message you wanted to send the people watching that particular special. Because I know how it hit me.
I just wanted people to be able to take, like I said earlier, what they've been through in life and laugh at it. Because I talked about being molested in that special. I talked about, growing up in a bootleg house, all kinds of stuff. I just want people to be able to open up and let go. And that's the message I gave at the end. Don't you let anything control you. Free yourself. You don't have to dwell in pain and hurt. Let it go. Let it out. And I wanted people to see me smiling while I was delivering some of these crazy stories that I had been through as a child with a smile on my face.
Yeah. Let me get to you specifically with this regard. The abuse, according to you, began when you were 8 years old, but you've said you didn't even recognize it until you were in your 30s. Explain that for folks who may not understand or how that came to be, how you reached that conclusion. Talk to us about that.
Absolutely. That's the number one question I get. I have a daughter who's 7.5. She is so innocent. She's still figuring out, how to write in cursive and read chapter. But I mean, she's so innocent. And that was the age I was when I first met this adult who came into our gym. We were told, you have to go back to this back room and you have to be treated by this athletic trainer. He was not even a doctor or in medical school yet at Michigan State University. And so we go back there and he's kind, he's loving, he's friendly, he's warm. And, that in and of itself is part of the grooming technique. Kids loved him. I equate him to like a Labrador puppy, like kind of nerdy, goofy, silly, sweet. And you contrast that with what was going on in the gym, which was the verbal, physical abuse of our coach, John Getter, who you just spoke about, who on the day he was supposed to show up to his arraignment after 24 counts of child abuse was committed suicide. He did not want to face the music. So I say often, like, he beat our little tiny child psyches down into thinking I lived in fear and trepidation all the time. Wow. I would throw up before practice. And so then you're sent back to this nice guy who's throwing all these medical terms out there. My 7.5-year-old wouldn't know. When I bring her to the doctor takes a strep, throat exam. And that's because I told her to and the doctor told her to. You know what I mean? Children innately trust adults.
The HBO original series Winning Time, The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty, is back for season 2 on Max. And let me tell you, it's special. Season 2 dives deeper into the world of the 80s Lakers, where legends were made and rivalries were born. We're talking high-octane drama, new key players, and thrilling rivalries that'll have you on the edge of your seat. And after you've watched the episodes, don't miss the official companion podcast hosted by my man, executive producer Rodney Barnes. He takes you behind the scenes and talks to the cast and crew that brings this world to vivid life. Each episode, Rodney is joined by Jeff Pearlman, author of the book Showtime, Magic, Kareem, Riley, and the Los Angeles Lakers dynasty of the 1980s that inspired the show. They'll discuss what's fact versus fiction in the show, including the clash of basketball titans as Magic and the Lakers find themselves facing their stiffest competition yet, Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics. Now, you know I love that. That's what this is all about. Bird, Magic, McHale, and Parrish, Danny Ainge, Dennis Johnson, Gerald Henderson. You got Magic, you got Norm Nixon, and then Byron Scott after him, Michael Cooper, Michael Thompson, Kurt Rambis, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy. The list goes on and on. You can't miss this. This is what it's all about. Make sure you watch. So mark your calendar, folks. because the game is about to change. And HBO's Winning Time Season 2 dynasties aren't born, they're taken. And you won't want to miss a single second of the podcast. Get ready to witness the triumphs, the heartbreaks, and the moments that define greatness. Watch the show on Max and listen to episodes of the official Winning Time podcast on Max or wherever you get your podcast. It's winning time, baby. Talking about WWE in this day and age and how it wouldn't be where it is if it were not for women such as yourself. Of course, the Charlotte Flairs, Bianca Belair, and others, obviously they come into consideration. But considering what women have done for the sports world overall, being specific to the WWE, what has women done in your estimation for this sport?
Brought in a whole new audience. Brought in a bigger female audience. I think our female audience is at 40% now, and I think you get that relatability. If I see, for example, UFC, right? I prefer watching the women fight because I'm a woman, so I can picture myself in that regard. But also, it's just we're all just people doing this sport, and we're all just telling stories. And I think gender aside, I think we do bring in a larger female audience because we show what is capable. But in general, I think we're at this stage where gender be damned, we're just flowing with our stories and we're just superstars.
See, to me, it shouldn't be gender be damned, Becky. I got to tell you something. I don't understand guys. I'm going to get on guys for a second because they drive me crazy. All right. How is it anybody in show business knows if you really want to be big time and you really want to get paid, it helps to have the ladies. It helps to have the ladies supporting you. I mean, if you have a female audience out there, male or female, as an athlete, if you have a female audience out there, your chances of being big time are exponentially higher.
Oh, 100%.
So what is it? Why is it now that people seem to be figuring it out? Oh my goodness, the ladies, they make a 40% of the WWE audience. That's a plus. It's always been a plus.
Always been a plus. No, I was talking about gender be damned in terms of storylines. We don't need, it doesn't matter if we're women or if we're men. We're all just top stars. We can be the main event. It doesn't matter if that was what I was saying. In terms of a female audience, well, we like to shop a lot. Yes. So we spend a lot of money and we buy a lot of merchandise. Right. And I think when you have a larger female following, it's also more marketable because we get in. We like to we get all in. We get all in.
That's right. What did it do to you specifically? What did it do personally? Because when you hear people talking about the Becky Lynch story, they talked about trials and tribulations overcome. What did it do to you having to experience all of those different things?
I'm not sure, really. It set me on a different path, right? Like it put me in a different school and with a different group of people. And they weren't bad people, but we were up to no good. You know, we were all up to no good.
Gotcha.
And I think it took me a couple of years to see that wasn't the path that I wanted to go down, and I wanted something different for myself. And my way of getting something different for myself, then this path that I could see myself going down was wrestling. It was, in a way, my way out.
You know what? When I think about myself and I'm thinking about my sports career and whatever, I thank the good Lord that I ran into sports because it saved my life from the standpoint of being associated with the streets, growing up in the streets of New York City, having to deal with the things that I had to deal with. I could have easily went down the wrong side of the tracks. And sports did that for me because even though I'm not a quote unquote professional athlete, the bottom line is my association with the world of sports has benefited me tremendously. And so there's a level of appreciation that I have for it that'll never go away. Is that how you feel about wrestling?
Yes, 100%. And I think that the other part of it, you bring up not being like an athlete. I wasn't an athlete. And that's why I loved Mick Foley so much. He wasn't an athlete, but he would do things and he would tell a story. And it's the storytelling aspect of wrestling that I love. I think that it's that has brought me to a different level. And that's what I concentrate on more than anything. Like, I can do everything in the ring, but how do we tell the story? How do we get people emotionally invested? I just want the fans of me to feel the way that I did when I was a kid, when I was watching. How can we make people feel? And that is the beautiful thing about what we do, is yes, there's the athleticism, there's the showmanship, but we make people feel, and that is freaking beautiful.
How do you think you've been able to pull that off personally?
How have I been able
to get people to invest in you emotionally? How have you been able to pull that off? Because you've pulled that off in a way that far exceeds most of your contemporaries.
I think because I think about it constantly. How can I make people feel? How can I tell a story? How can I make this different? And then the other thing about it is I think there's maybe a bit of a vulnerability that I've been able to show throughout my career. I think people have seen that I wasn't always the top prospect. I didn't come in built like a Bianca Belair or like a natural gifted athlete like a Charlotte Flair, or just somebody who you can point at and go, that's a star, like Rhea Ripley. I wasn't any of those things. I was the complete underdog, but I have a passion for this and I love this, and I think I bring that out, and I think I've always been a bit of a heart on my sleeve person. There's a thing in pro wrestling where, you know, like even though we're selling tickets, we're selling everything, we're selling in the ring, you gotta sell everything. I'm not good at that. I'm very much, here's my passion, here's how I feel at every moment. And I think people can read that from either the TV or the energy in the arena.
They've endured a scenario or a situation or an experience that was so downtrodden, so difficult to deal with emotionally and spiritually, because there was a level of misery attached to it, that once they capture something where they see what true joy really, really looks like, they want to hold on to it for dear life. What was that experience for you, if you could tell? Was there a miserable experience that you could point to that made you say, I never want to deal with this again?
But honestly, even if I pointed to it, in hindsight, it had to do with my perspective. And it had to do with how I let other people impact me, when in truth, it's like, you don't come to work for everybody to be your friend. You know, it would be great if that ends up happening, but that's not technically why we come to work. We come to work to tell these beautiful stories and to get the job done. And I think once you take the pressure off, and I'm a Gemini, I'm a female, like we're people pleasers by nature. And I think once you take the pressure off of wanting everyone to like you, you end up going into these situations just happy and grateful to be there. And as long as I'm staying in like, and I'm not even saying it in like a idealistic kind of way, I'm honest, because I've experienced both. And I learned from the negative experience. And what I learned from that negative experience is if I go into the situation grateful, then I'm grateful for whatever these individuals have to offer, or I'm grateful for whatever this set has to offer, or production has to offer. And I take what I can from it and I give what I can to it. And then we just move on.
I applaud you if you're someone who tries to shoulder the load when assigned a project, who likes to take the lead and do things your way. But let me remind you of the old saying, there is no I in team. And in today's world with high competition out there for businesses, you need a team. But there is an I in Indeed. And when you're hiring, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place with powerful tools to help you do it all. One of the things I love about Indeed is that you can reach out directly to those top candidates it identifies for you. And candidates you invite are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to U.S. Indeed data. That's why more than 3 million businesses rely on the power of Indeed. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/SAS. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/SAS. Just go to Indeed.com/SAS and support the show by saying you heard about it on this podcast. Indeed.com/SAS. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Stephen A. Smith Show, Empowering Women. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And please let me know which powerhouse women you'd like me to invite on a future episode.